Well, hello there. Welcome back to another Pokemon Master video. So we're gonna be talking about what's it called? Super Awaken. Oh my god, I don't even know what to click. You would imagine I know what to click in this game, but I don't. We're gonna be talking about Super Awakening today, and honestly, it kind of a continuation of the last kind of video I made. I talked about 5th year anniversary and kind of my worries coming into that. Again, putting on my tinfoil hat, immediately when Pokemon TCG Pocket or whatever that game is called, when they first announced that game, immediate worries because it was being produced by DNA, which is one of the people who make Pokemon Masters. So when I saw that they had a new project, again, I like I mentioned in that video, I was worried that Pokemon Masters, there might be some stuff going on, it's the beginning of the end, basically. The Pokemon TCG Pocket marked the beginning of the end for Pokemon Master EX. And 5th year anniversary, again, they introduced a feature, new arc suits, which were a new type of character, a new type of new attribute, I don't know, new role, that's the proper term for Pokemon Masters. New role to the game, and I didn't like that, and they changed the banners, which you never want to change the banners and make them worse in Pokemon and in gacha games, but they did. And this is a continuation of that, because now they're introducing another feature, which I am not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of Super Awakening, so I have a few thoughts, so let's get into it. Super Awakening, what is... Oh, I didn't even start my video. Wait, did I start my video? Wait, what the heck? I'm talking, but I didn't even start recording the video yet. Okay, I'm gonna start recording now, apparently. Okay, my audio stays, but I didn't record the video, so that's kind of awkward. It's gonna be like, okay. Anyways, what is Super Awakening? They just added this in kind of the end of October 2014 update. And basically what Super Awakening is, alright, it's basically after you get your sync pair up to 5-5, alright, after you upgrade them to 5-5. 5-5 means 5 copies of them, okay? How do you get copies of a character? You roll characters, and then you get multiple copies. So you roll one of the character, but then you get another one, so it's 2 out of 5. The reason why we say out of 5 is because when the game first came out, we can look at move levels here. There's just like 5 levels, alright? And then after you get a character 5 times, every extra copy of the character turns into like a power-up ticket, which you can use to upgrade the character's potential, and then you can upgrade them to 6-star if they have that unlocked. But 5-5 basically means every copy of the character does extra damage, and then more importantly nowadays is every extra copy of the character gives you better sync grids, and that's how you get the power from your characters. That's what the Pokemon Master version of multiple copies of a character was 5-5. Genshin Impact has like the C7. The more copies you get of the character, the better they have more effects, and they do more damage from their skills or bursts. And a lot of games have that in common, where the more copies of a character you get, the better that character becomes. And then maybe extra copies of that character you can upgrade, like a weapon and stuff like that. You might get a equipable item, because Near Reincarnation gave you a equipable item. Octopath Traveler gives you a material to upgrade your move. So there's a lot of stuff, and it gives you another actually equipable equipment item as well. But Pokemon Masters are basically, when you get copies of characters, it just makes the moves stronger and it unlocks sync grid. That's basically the 2 things that it does. Now they've unlocked another feature where after you've unlocked that character 5 times, you can Super Awaken them. And when you Super Awake them, what that means is that they have new things that they unlock. So basically, we're going above 5 out of 5 copies of a character to max, to essentially being 10 out of 10 to max out a character. So now if you have 1 copy of a character, that's essentially 1 out of 10, which is a new way of thinking about it, right? A lot of people are saying, oh, this isn't the same as move levels. They're wrong. The reason why this is very similar to move levels is because when you upgrade a character, you're using extra copies of the character using 5-star move candies to get them up to 1 out of 5 to 2 out of 5. You're using the same match to upgrade them to Super Awaken them. So if you're using the same match essentially duplicate copies of a character, 5-star move candies, and there's another material that gets added to the game. If you're using the same mask to upgrade the character, if you to super awaken the character, then you're just getting more copies of the character, which means that's 10 out of 10. It's or like it's, you know, with 1 out of 10 if you have one copy, you know what I mean? So this is 10 out of 10. This is the new move level. The new max move level is 10 out of 10. You know, if people say this is different from move level, it's technically named differently, but if the materials and everything is the same, then it's basically 10 out of 10 to max out a character now. Before it was 5 out of 5. Well, what do you get when you super awaken a character? Okay, there's 5 levels to it. Again, there's 5 extra copies of the character you can get. The first copy gives that character more stats, so a 10% increase in stats. That actually goes a long way. A little bit more damage is really strong. A little bit more defense is really strong. So that's actually pretty impactful. The second copy depends on the character. Sprint and strike characters, from copy 3 to 4, you're basically increasing your move and sync move. For tech and field units, you're increasing, once again, moves and sync moves. It seems like tech units gets more sync move increases, and strike and sprint pairs get more regular move increases. But at the end of the day, it's basically your moves and sync moves do more damage. Support, interestingly enough, you get more HP and defense, which is good because any extra HP and any extra defense is really strong for a support unit, actually for any unit. So that's really nice. And the last, basically what you actually want is at level 5. Basically 10 out of 10. You're gonna need 10 out of 10 to unlock a new passive. And the Super Awaken passive skills are very strong. They're planning on unlocking all the characters 10 out of 10, but now when they first introduced it, they have unlocked these characters. So any new character that comes out gets the new Super Awaken skill, and these old characters just got it. Out of all those old characters that we saw, I don't have many. I don't have 30. I in fact have 13. So less than half of the characters. I mean, obviously some characters are new, so I don't have, you know, the new characters ultimately. But in terms of the old characters, I have 13 out of the old characters. And in fact, I have 2 characters that are 5 out of 5. Some people might have literally none of these characters 5 out of 5 because a lot of them are Pokefair, which means they're like 2%, they're limited. And a lot of them, like, why would you get 5 out of 5? You know? I did get 5 out of 5 Cynthia because I like Cynthia. I'm talking about classic Cynthia and Garchomp. And I got 5 out of 5 N. I wrote 3 copies of him during his first run. I got another copy of him during some kind of like Legendary Gauntlet banner where they have 3 limited Pokefairs. And then the last copy, I think I used a candy. So Cynthia, I think I used 4 candies, and I used 1 candy. Striker, 5-star candy to be exact. And if I super awaken these characters, what do I get? I get a skill. What is Cynthia's skill? Again, this is 10 out of 10 classic Cynthia, okay? So you're 10 out of 10 in classic Cynthia, who sucks now when you compare her to Arcsuit Cynthia. Arcsuit Cynthia at 1 copy is probably better than regular Cynthia at 5 copies. Let's be real here. And I have Arcsuit Cynthia at 5 copies. So 100% I'm not going to ever unlock this on regular Cynthia, because this would just be a waste of time. Why would I upgrade this when this is probably going to be worse than 5 out of 5 Arcsuit Cynthia? But I digress. What does this skill do? What does 10 out of 10 Cynthia skill give you? Reduce sync move countdown by 1 the first time you enter battle. Who cares? Call this Sandstorm the first time the user enters battle. Again, who cares? When you start off the battle, you don't really need Sandstorm. I mean, it's nice because Cynthia's move means that you can increase her speed and crit rate twice if she sets up her own Sandstorm. But if, for example, if you use her with Bertha, or you use her with another character that can set up Sandstorm, then that's not the case. Or if you use her with a buffer, then this match is too fun that it's not that good either, right? So if you use Cynthia with a buffer, or you use Cynthia with some kind of Sandstorm already set up, then that Sandstorm doesn't matter. Obviously her own Sandstorm matters. When she sinks, she summons a Sandstorm from one of her sync grids. That does matter because that's extended and that makes her do more damage. But when you start off the battle, getting Sandstorm isn't, in my opinion, that important. Okay, so that part of the Super Awaken passive is kind of useless in my opinion. And then the more the user speed is raised, the more power the user sync move is. Okay, that's a good one. So in my opinion, the first part is kind of bad. The second part is kind of bad. The third part is actually good. You do more sync move damage. Because with Cynthia, you're probably going to have max speed. So yeah, so basically these passives have a lot of effects on them, but depending on the effects they get, they might be useless. In my opinion, I think 2 out of 3 of this passive is useless. And again, this is your 10 out of 10ing a character. 5 out of 5ing a character is already hard in this game. 10 out of 10 is even crazy. All right. Again, I'm gonna get to Super Awakening Candy. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna get to that. But let's go to the other character that I can potentially max out Super Awaken. Okay. Unova's Hero. Okay, powers up the user's sync move when his attack is raised. Okay, that's good. Again, more sync move damage. Power up the user's sync move that are super effective. Again, that's actually good. Again, my sync move is gonna do way more damage if my attack is raised and my if it's super effective. That's good. Increase the user's physical attack move up by 1 stat when he uses a trainer move. Again, kind of useless because that's kind of a one-time increase in stat. But as someone who is I use N for a long time. Again, N was one of the first units that I 3 out of 5 that I maxed out the sync grid when he came out. And so I use N a lot, and he has major issues. One of the issues is he can't fully max out his attack. He can't even raise his crit at all. And he inconsistently applies paralysis. The reason why applying a paralysis is important with N is because he does more damage from his sync grid if the target is paralyzed. So because he is a little bit inconsistent when it comes to applying paralysis, you need a consistent paralysis user on his team. You know, whether it's from a Thunder Fang or from, you know, pick a Thunderbolt Ash or something like that, right? So N's 3 main problems. Again, I just mentioned that, oh, you're probably gonna have a buffer with Cynthia. Granted, you're probably gonna also have a buffer with N. But at least Cynthia can like kind of raise her crit to max and kind of raise her attack, not to max, but again, some of the main issues that N has for me using him aren't fixed with his passive. Basically, his passive, he does more sync move damage, which, don't get me wrong, is good, but your 10 out of 10ing N, is that going to be worth it? When I say 10 out of 10, yes, what you could do, because when you raise the Super Awaken level, you need to use this item, custom Super Awaken Candy. So you need Super Awaken Candy, whether that be Cynthia N. Where do you get Super Awaken Candy? You can make it by exchanging 5-star move candies. Now, I mentioned earlier, if you watched my 5th anniversary video, when I talked about 5th year anniversary, these items are extremely premium. In my opinion, I don't recommend you using these at all, because these are the only items that you can use to upgrade arc suits instead of like using gems. So if you want to upgrade your arc suits to multiple copies, which again, upgrading arc suits is, in my opinion, kind of worth it, because you get a free passive. You get a free passive on the sync grid, and of course, the stronger they are, think about it, Super Awakening a arc suit is going to be way more valuable than Super Awakening a Pokefair. But I digress. These 5-star move candies are going to be valuable. I don't recommend you using these to Super Awaken. You could also use regular candies, like Strike candies, Strike 5-star candies, you know, support 5-star move candies. And you can also use Super Awaken Candy. And you might be asking yourself, okay, so there's a few things you can get there, right? And so yeah, you're using the same materials. When you 5 out of 5 a character, if you don't roll for all the characters, you have to use these candies to 5 out of 5 a character. So basically, if you're using the same mats to unlock Super Awakening, then isn't that just 10 out of 10ing a character? Am I right? Okay. However, you can also use Super Awaken Candy. Now, where do you get Super Awaken Candy? If you press where to find, it doesn't tell you where to find. So that's great game right there. You go to the shop, okay, and you have to scout the newest units. Now, old units don't have it. Old units are not going to have this feature. So let's go ahead and do Serena. She's an old banner. Yep, doesn't have anything gift-wise, presents when you roll. But if you go ahead and you look at the newest unit, Sync Sued Ingo, which is, for me, is the easiest skip of my life. But you know, if Ingo lovers rejoice, you have another Ingo Sync pair. That's the third one, so pop off. They increased presence, or I will get to this. They increased it, but you get Super Awaken Candy if you spend 5 multis. 5 multis equals 15,000 gems. Alright, you're spending 15,000 gems. You get 1 Super Awaken Candy, which can be used on any character as long as that character is like 5 out of 5, right? To Super Awaken them. If you do 5 more multis, so in total 30,000 gems, you're gonna get 2 Super Awaken Candies from the present. And this is, in my opinion, the main way, or the best way to super awaken, or to get super awaken mats. Instead of needing to get candies to upgrade characters, because those candies are valuable, because those candies not only can they be used to super awaken, but they can be used simply to get 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, right? Like, those candies have two purposes now, because super awaken is out. But the super awaken candy itself only has one purpose, which is super awakening. And also, super awaken candies can be used for any character. It doesn't need to be support, doesn't need to be tech. Potentially, you can use this, again, I'm not sure because they haven't released it yet, but you could potentially use this on arc suits, which is the 6th role, the multi-role. So you can use this on the multi-role, the sprint, the field role, right? That's what I think is going to happen, by the way. They haven't done it for arc suits yet. But if that's the case, this item is valuable for super awakening, right? You really want to use these. Some people are going to make the argument that, okay, sure, they're releasing materials for you to accelerate the 10 out of 10 process. Again, this doesn't help with the 1 out of 5, but this helps from the 6 to 10, right? It accelerates that, the super awakening candy. They locked it behind rolling for characters, right? So you have to roll for this Pokefair of a unit, and you have to roll 30,000 gems just to get 2, or you can do 1,500 just to get 1, right? So people might say like, okay, you have to spend gems to get these materials, but like, I mean, I think it makes sense because of course you're gonna be spending gems, right? That doesn't mean you have to spend money. You're just spending gems, which you get gems when playing the game. So like when you play the game, you get free, essentially, super awakening candies. You just need to roll, and like people just roll for banners, obviously, right? And so that's where you get them. All right. So now let me talk about kind of the feature itself. I think upgrading to 10 out of 10 is going to be pretty difficult. I'm happy to see, however, that they did add super awakening candies and rolls, and I'm also happy to see that they've injected us with more move candies, or I should say move candy coins. So if you roll Ingo and you spend the 30,000 gems, not only are you getting 2 super awakened candies, but you're also getting sprint move candy coins. If you do the full 30,000 rolls, you are getting 10, which is half a candy. So that's halfway to like a single candy, which is, it's not bad, right? It's not bad. They're giving us more mats. All right, let's go ahead and check this Master Fair of Serena, where you only get yeah, look at these rewards. Like you only get 6 coins. I mean, you do get a yellow move candy coin, but you only get 6 instead of 10. Granted, you only need to do 5 multis, 1,500 gems, but I digress. They're injecting up more coins, which is what I like to see. It's one of my recommendations that they did after introducing arc suits. When they introduced arc suits, I wanted them to inject the economy with more move candy coins, because we're going to be spending a lot more gems rolling for these arc suits, which means we'll have less gems to roll for multiple copies of characters, which means that extra gems would help alleviate our need to roll for extra copies of characters. So yeah, it is kind of sad that they've locked a lot of move coins and super awakened candies behind banners. Because what if you don't care about rolling for many copies? What if your first multi, you got Signal Suit Ingo in your first multi? Well, now like what, should I roll more to get more mats and to potentially get more copies of Ingo, or should I stop and save my gems for other characters that I want to roll for, right? So it's like that dilemma of, should I keep going on the banner, or should I just stop when I get the character? Now they're kind of incentivizing you to keep going in the banner, even though you might already have the character. They're really incentivizing rolling more on the banner, so you get more copies of the characters for more coins and more super awakened candies to 10 out of 10 your characters. Right? So I'm not a big fan of that of itself, of where you have to like spend more currency, more of your in-game currency to roll for characters, right? So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the Super Awakening, like I mentioned. Getting 10 out of 10 copies of a character, I don't see myself really going for Super Awakening now, or like when the feature comes out. I recommend you guys do the same. I recommend you guys wait for it. Wait until you guys have wait until they add more sync pairs. because they haven't Super Awakened Master Fairs yet. So those Master Fairs might have really strong effects, right? Free characters, right? All they've done is a lot of Poke Fair, but they haven't done any free characters yet. So who knows? Maybe the free characters are more worth it than the rolled characters, because the free characters kind of suck already, right? So these characters are already decent on their own, but what if free characters you can make like a free character stronger? That might be a little bit more appealing, right? So, and then also I want to mention this as well, is that they did do kind of a good thing here, but it's kind of good, but it's kind of bad at the same time, and let me explain. They're making it so they've introduced a kind of a new type of item into the game, custom move candies. So it seems like you can only get these custom move candies right now from spending paid gems, right? You have to pay money to get these custom move candy. Maybe they'll change this in the future. I'm assuming, right? I'm assuming that, like, for example, Zinnia and Rayquaza, Cyrus and Bakaya, characters like those, Giovanni and Mewtwo. I'm assuming we might get 5-star custom move candies for free. I'm assuming for free, but potentially they might not be free. But I digress. They're letting us get these for free if we use paid gems. So if we look at this banner here, which is going to be the same for Steven and Lance, but I'm just going to focus on Cynthia here. If you pay 10,000 paid gems, alright, 10,000 paid gems, you can basically get 5 copies of Cynthia. Now, if you only have her at 1 copy, then you can upgrade her to like 6 out of 10 with all this stuff. But if you have her at 5 copies like me, if I roll for all this, and I choose Cynthia for my my 5th one, and let's say I don't get Cynthia, because I'm rolling on a banner, so there's a potential that I will get Cynthia along the way. If I get all these, that means I can upgrade my Cynthia. Now, I'll be honest with you, what I don't understand is if I get a Cynthia in the banner, does that Cynthia become a 5-star move ticket, or will it help me with Super Awakening? Because I'm assuming it turns into a 5-star ticket. So like if I get Cynthia in this, if I get like a Cynthia as one of the characters I rolled for in my scouts, I'm not sure if that turns into Super Awakening materials. I think it turns into a 5-star like ticket, power-up ticket to increase potential. But this offer makes it so that you can get a few custom move candies for Cynthia, so you can upgrade her. And honestly, I don't even think it's that like expensive. Like it's 10,000 paid gems. And now, like the cheapest way of getting paid gems in Pokemon Masters is these streak bundles. So if you go here, it's $4 US for essentially 3,000 gems in 20 days. So there is like a day that you have to like there is like a day limit to it. Like you can only get so many gems per day. And so basically it's 3,000 gems for $4 for 20 days. And so if you do the math for Cynthia here, if you want to complete all these scouts, it'll be 10,000 gems, which would be 4 of the purchases of that streak bonus, because each one is 3,000, so you purchase 3 of them, which would be 9,000, and you have to purchase another one for the extra 1,000. So it's basically 4 purchases. It's gonna be $16. And technically 90 days. The next one would be 120 days. No, I'm sorry. It would be 80 days. No, it would be not 80 days. It would be 60 days. Because it's 3 purchases, which is 3,000 gems, so that would be 9,000 gems for 3 purchases. And then the next purchase, where you'll get 1,000 gems immediately, which will complete the 10,000 gems. But then your next one would be 80 days technically. Because okay, anyways, let's just you know what I mean, right? Does the math make sense? Because it takes days to get the gems. Regardless, let's just say it takes 60 days to get. If you have to log in every day too, by the way, 60 days to get 10,000 gems for $14 or $16. And in my opinion, $16 and 60 days to get 10 out of 10 of a character that you've already have starting 5 out of 5. I don't think it's that bad. But also, now that I'm looking at it, I think it's only 4 copies, because I don't think it's technically 5 copies. Because wouldn't this just give you like a duplicate ticket? Again, I'm not exactly sure if this actually gives you Super Awakening materials. But I think that this is a good way of promoting the Super Awakening feature if you want to pay for it. I understand that, $16 can go a long way. I don't want to undersell $60 or $16, because that could be like food for a week, essentially, right? That could prevent someone from starving for a week. And so I understand, like, that's, you know, that's not a little amount of money. But I'm also playing Genshin Impact and like paying $100, not even thinking about it. Like, I'm just spending $100 here and there. Not really, but let's just say I am. And like, so yeah, like spending $100 in Genshin Impact or spending like $16 to like max out a character in Pokémon Masters, like it doesn't seem that bad in Pokémon Masters. And so I think if you really like Cynthia, Steven, or Lance, and you know you have $16 and 60 days to spare, obviously these banners end in 60 days, but you know what I mean, right? I don't think these offers are too bad. So yeah, I just don't know. And like, now that I think about it, I don't even know if I buy this, if I can even 9 or 10 out of 10 Cynthia. Because this, I don't think this counts, right? I could totally be wrong. But yeah, I think that this is a good feature that they added, a way to pay for it. But again, it just seems a little bit greedy because you have to pay to make characters stronger. And then that's also the final point I kind of really want to talk about here, is that why are they adding Super Awakening? Like, I like the concept of being able to like upgrade your sync pairs more, and obviously this helps kind of the weaker sync pairs, because now my regular Cynthia can be a little bit stronger, which is nice. Can have her compete with Arc Suit Cynthia, even though I think Arc Suit Cynthia just absolutely slams normal Cynthia. But it worries me. It worries me. I like that you can continue to upgrade your character. If you really like a character, you can go above and beyond, not just 5 copies, but like 10 out of 10 copies, just so you can make them as strong as, you know. It's nice to be able to like fully upgrade a character that you really like. But the problem is, like, they're making characters stronger, and again, it goes back to, okay, power creep. They're making characters stronger. Why are they making characters stronger? That means that they can make harder content, because like if they make harder content, then they can sell these strong characters, you know what I mean? And so that they can make more money. Oh, we're gonna release harder content, so you need really strongly upgraded characters. And how do you get those strongly upgraded characters? Money. Boom. I mean, you make more money because we're making harder content and we're making stronger characters. So it's the same thing when I mentioned about like the last video about arc suits, is that the idea of arc suits means that they're making really strong characters, which means potentially we're gonna get stronger content. Again, I mentioned it before when they added arc suits, that we might get another difficulty of Champion Stadium. Instead of 15,000 points, we might get 17,500 points. Like, that's what I'm afraid of, that they might add. And with this new Super Awaken feature, we're gonna get a lot of stronger units, and so they have an excuse to make harder content. And I don't think harder content benefits anybody. I don't like making the game harder. Don't give us stronger sync pairs, because at the end of the day, the game is already like fine how it is. It's already pretty easy, a lot of people say. And so you're just making the game easier. But then if they make it easier, then they, you know, then there's like, what's the point of me upgrading my character to 10 out of 10 if the game's easy? So obviously they're gonna have to make it harder to compensate and to force us to get 10 out of 10 characters so that we can finish the content. So yeah, I do hope that they're not gonna add too many features that make the game harder, but I feel it in my bones. Okay, when they added the multi-role, when they added the arc suits, I'm just assuming that the game is gonna be harder, and I think that with the Super Awakening, they're gonna make it harder. But yeah, it's just, again, Super Awakening just seems like a cash grab to me. Oop, you can upgrade your characters more by spending more money, so give us more money, right? I just don't like that kind of idea. I wish they did differently. Speaking of doing it differently, how would have I done it? How, like I'm complaining about it, but what are my suggestions? Well, my suggestions is that I like the idea that you can get more copies of a character to make them stronger, but I just don't like how much it costs. 5 out of 5 is already a lot, and then now it's 10 out of 10. It's literally double that. Granted, it might be a little bit easier because you can use the Super Awakened candies that you get from any rolls. But yeah, my simple solution was, I wish that it was, instead of 10 out of 10, instead of there being 5, I guess, ranks of Super Awakening, I wish there's only 3 ranks, right? The first rank, multiply all the stats. The second rank, power up the moves and sync moves. Give the Pokemon more defense and HP. And then the third Super Awakening, unlock the passive. right? Like, I think I would have liked this feature a lot more if it was literally only 3 upgrades. So instead of 10 out of 10 copies, it's 8 out of 8 copies, right? 2 less copies would, in my opinion, would make such a big difference. You still have the opportunity to upgrade your characters. You still have the opportunity to spend money, right? DNA still has the opportunity to make money because people are gonna want to spend money to get 8 out of 8 copies. But I think 8 out of 8 copies would have just felt way more better. Would have felt way more better. Does that make sense? Like, I think like it would have been an easier pill to swallow. Like, okay, 3 more copies of Cynthia to max her out, 8 out of 8. I think I can do that, you know? But instead, they went a little bit greedy, and it's like 5 out of 5. And that's, in my opinion, I just think that that's just too much. That's too much. So yeah, that's how I would have made the feature. But the thing is, they're not going to change. They're not going to change the feature. Like, if they were willing to change the feature, or they're willing to not do it, they wouldn't have done it. Them releasing, you know, them releasing the multi-role, them releasing 500 scout points, them releasing Super Awakening, making it 10 out of 10, them doing that means that they, them releasing it means that, like, it was all set and done. Like, if they wouldn't have done it, or if they hesitated on it, you know, if they wouldn't have done it, they wouldn't have did it. Does that make sense? Like, if there were people who didn't want it to have it done, it wouldn't have been done. But because the feature is pushed out, that means that, yeah, they aren't gonna make it easier or better for us. They just want to release it as it is, and we get 10 out of 10 characters. So yeah, that's kind of it. Again, I can't play around with the feature yet. I don't even know who I want a 5 out of 5, because on my count, like, how many characters can I actually 5 out of 5? Like, if we just look at the characters that I have 5 out of 5, let's call them 6 stars. I guess, like, how many characters? Like, really, it's not many. Like, it really isn't many. Let's exclude, like, the standard characters. Like, if we exclude the standard character, it really only is, like, classic Cynthia, and then Gloria, which I probably wouldn't Super Awaken. Annabelle, which 100% I wouldn't Super Awaken. Arcsuit Cynthia, which I 100% would Super Awaken. When they add it, I will 100% Super Awaken Arcsuit Cynthia, because I 5 out of 5 her thinking I'd max her out. I have not maxed her out. So, and I probably would Super Awaken Special Costume Zinnia just because. But yeah, that means only 2 characters. Would there be other characters that I want to Super Awaken? I mean, yeah, I want to Super Awaken Champion Serena. I would want to Super Awaken Irida. But that means that I would have to get them 5 out of 5 copies. Like, I'm gonna spend 2 copies just to start Super Awakening them? Like, that sounds crazy to me, right? Like, do I really want to invest that much materials? So yeah, I don't know. I haven't played with the feature yet, so I can't really say much about it. But I just am not the biggest fan of how they released it. I just hope in the future that they give us more sources of move coins. I hope they give us more sources of Super Awakened candy, and I hope that future characters have really good Super Awakened passives. Like, in my opinion, the Cynthia one sucks. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of yeah. Not the biggest fan of the feature, but we'll have to see how they approach it in the future. I probably had a lot more to say of this video. I probably rambled a lot, but I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. And yeah, this video is gonna be awkward because it's I'm gonna need to make it like 2 minutes longer, at least the video itself. But anyways, I'm rambling at this point. Thank you so much for watching, you beautiful the way you are, and I'll catch you in the next Pokemon Master video. Hopefully, I don't keep saying negative stuff. 5th year anniversary was already a little bit sus, and then now we have Super Awakening, which is another feature that I don't like. So yeah, game is going in a bad direction, in my opinion. So I hope future features are gonna be better. So yeah, okay, bye bye. That's end of the video. All right, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Yep, bye.